Well, howdy, folks. Welcome to episode 28 of Sorcery 102 Beyond the Ordinary. I'm Portland Stew with my co host, as always.
Bobby Ringsley here. How's it going? It's
It's
yeah.
going pretty
So we
good.
got an exciting new thing here for us today. We are going to be going over the top five two drops in each element. So we split it up a little differently than for each other, but I think we can get that to work out. We'll go through it all here in a second.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're just going to go over like the top cards to consider. I was kind of thinking of it as like these are cards you should always consider putting in your deck if you're this element. How are you thinking about it?
yeah. And I think what inspired this episode was I've been trying to break out of my mold in decks and go for some hardcore value oriented decks. And so I've been looking at sorcerer and interrogator decks a lot lately, decks oriented around drawing cards. And it makes me want a lot of two drops, like especially in sort like that's in Fury Road, right? Like a lot of the time you stop at 5 mana, and so you want a two drop and a three drop in your hand most of the time. And I think two drops in a lot of lists and sub two drops. Really, we're talking about twos, and we might even talk a little bit about the one drops, but
Yeah,
generally the power level of those cheap cards is so low that you don't run many in most lists, but in limited, you really want to have a turn two play, and I think in constructed as well, there's something to be said. Like the other thing that got me thinking about it is all of the swarm necromancers running around these days. Is that I feel like a lot of people are playing like necromancer plus common villages, or just all like because necro you just get to put stuff on board every turn, and
yeah,
that's what's nice about running a sort of solid amount of two drops in your list is actually getting onto the board early and being able to double spell sooner and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
I ended up not making it, putting it in the list. But one of my when I was looking at one drops, I was like, well, Common Village is a one drop in a lot of Earth decks, and I think that that's kind of
yeah,
what you're getting at. Was those early turns having something on board matters a lot. So yeah, do you just
yeah,
want to jump right into our TTS and start going
yeah.
over
Let's
stuff?
let's dive into it. And I think we're gonna. So I did not include uniques in my lists for two drops.
So start out with fire.
Fire two drops.
All right, let's see what we got here. Let's just spread them all out and we'll
Yeah.
rank them and see what we have different, see what we have the
See if
same.
we have the same list. You try and
I think this is mine, and I know you're. This is probably controversial, but I
yeah. I mean, I know you're an anti-violent person.
not like full anti-violent, but like yeah, I almost put jihad instead of violent in my list I was including uniques. This one doesn't have any uniques, but I assume jihad made your uniques list.
Yeah, the
Um,
two uniques I put as like worth sort of considering are Jihad and Grigori, which Grigori only in a true evil tribal deck, but
yeah, yeah, and
Jihad
jihad. The reason I didn't
obviously.
do jihad is because I was thinking of it as like you only want that in decks that are going to be like aggressively bent, and not
Yeah,
all
and
fire ends up being aggressively bent.
yeah. And even I've been cutting Jihad from two element decks lately
Yeah,
too. Like I don't really like having it if I'm not mono fire.
yeah, it's
So we both
general.
agree Warhorse is the undisputed best two drop in fire.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
That's
Like how could it not be? Charge, may carry an ally, can move your avatar around, can move other minions around, can pick up a Pudge Butcher, um,
yeah.
can reposition. It's just so versatile
I know
in
it's
how it's usable.
wild how big a difference the carry ability, like a two mana, two power charge is a decent card, right? But
Hmm.
it doubling as a movement trick just makes it good in almost every deck that can run it. Like you never run out of uses. Like so many times it allows you to get a death blow by like moving something where it shouldn't, where your opponent's
Not
not
ready to
expecting it
prepared.
to be.
Yeah, or like it can even like it's even good late, right? It can like move you away from a death blow sometimes, which is huge.
Yeah.
Um,
And then
but
you
yeah,
went
so
Centipede as your number two.
Centerfee is, oh man, I love Centerfee. It's so potent. It just does so much. So much of sorcery right now is around the sites and how greedy people are being around their sites. Is
Mm,
just it's a bit crazy to me. So being able to turn off their threshold, being able to turn off their ability, like make their um, Worthering Heights not able to throw minions, make their Bottomless Pit not function, make their Perilous Bridge not function, make their Gnome Hollows not, like all those things matter so much, um, that like
yeah,
it can be a really big problem for a lot of decks if you play an early Centerfee.
yeah.
So that's why it's there for me.
I'm a diehard Centipede person as well. Frogamago and I discuss this all the time with Limited because am always the one person, or not one person, but I'm like always I often watch the live stream of when he's drafting, and
Hmm.
every time Centipede comes up, I'm like, take the Centipede, like, but it's a two drop, like that's not that big of a deal, but I think it might be the best two drop in Gothic Limited because of that. Like sometimes, like there are games where just playing Cinderfee means your opponent doesn't get to play the game for the first 4 turns,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it can be a
And
huge deal,
that's
and the same thing can happen in constructed.
oh
Um,
yeah, definitely, yeah. It can be huge and constructed. It's got that what you really want from your two drops, and that it's like a good on turn two card, and it can do a lot late game. Can kill submerged things. Yeah,
yeah.
Centipede is so good. It didn't make. I just think Violimp is better.
Why is violent better?
So Violimp is better because one, because deserts exist, and two, because it like because it actually addresses minions. And as much as sites are huge right now, I do still think that sorcery is mostly about the minions, right? And
Right.
Centipede, aside from a submerged minion that's on the front row, Cinderfee's not going to do anything to a minion on the board. And so there's a lot of the time where Centerfee does end up just kind of being a vanilla 2 power. Whereas Violin can always, if there's something on the board that's adjacent to one of your sites, you can do 2 damage to it. And there's so many uses for that. With the desert, it's more than that. Like, yeah, there's often
Yeah.
can be a death blow. Like, there's just more you can do with Violin, and it's great in the mirror match, too.
Yeah.
Like,
I.
especially right now, I feel like Violimps should be going up in everyone's heuristics because I think Fire's coming up.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, and with the new site that got spoiled at Gen Con and with deserts, so like this
Oh my
can there's
god.
an additional
With
ways to.
Lava Manster, the Lava Mancer thing is gonna be crazy where you pay like once you hit 4 mana, okay, you hit 4 mana, you draw a site for turn, it's a desert. You pay 3 to pull apart their thing, do 1 damage, tap your avatar to play the desert, do 1 more damage, pay your last 2 to play your Violent, and now you can kill a 4 mana minion with your 2 drop.
Yeah, that is huge. I mean, there's so much that can do. I think that might be um, the and yeah the and there's probably more of that nonsense in that deck too. Um, so it probably does go up in that case. But yeah, currently at least centrifuge for me. But yeah,
And
no,
it's
you
great
make
for
good points.
buffing wards too.
I feel like there's just so many Lugbog cats,
Mm,
and that's when it feels bad. Is like there's a Lugbog cat or a um, colicky dragonette, and I don't have a desert or something like that, where it just kind of like two just isn't quite enough.
yeah. Well, and we've talked about it in the past. Like I think we both went a little down on Violence from
Yeah,
like in the Gothic era because I do think everyone's running more fours, less threes, things like that.
Yeah.
Firebolt should maybe move down too. Like I wonder if this is really my ranking is actually this, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Firebolt is just so versatile with how it like just can kill a minion, can help finish off a minion, can um yeah, there's just so much, and like they have to like it keeps one power minions in check that like shouldn't
hmm
be around. Like it just like polices the fact that people shouldn't be playing frontier settlers like I am. It polices
yeah,
that. Um,
yeah, exactly.
and that's a big deal. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. Firebolts is just super reliable, super solid card, combos with a lot of things. Enough
yeah, it just
said.
not yeah exactly. So the next one that we for me is Redmane here. I think the reason this is on the list at all is not just because of its raw power level, but because of it actually might be the second red fire minion I add to decks a lot of times, because and sometimes it's the first, because like if I'm like, okay, you've got to eat your Archie vegetables, um
Yeah,
and like this is one of them, and that's why it's on the list for me, and like that's not like a fun reason to have it on the list, but it it's an auto include, and like there are some decks where I would consider not having Violent, and there are some decks where I'd consider not having Firebolts even, but like at this point with how powerful Archie is, you have to respect it in competitive metas, and like that's why this is here. And maybe that I don't know. That's my thought process on it.
yeah, and I mean you're not wrong. Like Redmane's the one that every deck I build with fire, I'm like debating how many Redmanes because I kind of hate running 3 Redmane, right?
Yeah,
And then, but then if I'm down to two, it's like, is it even reliable enough to draw it? The
yeah,
decks I love Redmane in are Earth Fire, because if you're running assorted animals, then you can go grab Redmane when you need it, which feels a little better. And it does work really well with Violemp, where like when your Violemp's dead, now Redmane becomes just a 4 power minion for two, which
yeah,
feels great.
yeah. It does. I also like it with
Um,
Pudge Butcher, which is also why I like it with Earth Fire.
yeah, yeah, Redmane's very good. I just, yeah, I mean, the reason why Redmane is in the top five is definitely just because of Archie, and that's, I don't know, to me, like that's not enough. Like, it's not a card that you would be like, oh, this is an auto include if we weren't all just living in fear of this one deck, you know?
Yeah, that's a totally fair point. Because like if Archie didn't exist and like Death Speaker was one of the better decks, like I
Mhm.
still would be like, meh, this is
Yeah,
fine, I guess. But like
yeah,
it's
I'll
not auto
run
include,
my
so
my cemetery hate and my sites and play better minions.
yeah,
And then I put, yeah, it was hard. I mean, Redmane, Flame Skull, and Gift of the Serpent all fought for my last slot. I settled on Gift of the Serpent because it cantrips and it combos so well with a lot of standard fire cards. Like Colicky Dragonettes and Quarrelsome Kobolds are often three of each in every fire deck. And then with
yeah,
Gift of the Serpent, they become kill anything cards, and it's card neutral, which is awesome.
huge. Yeah, no, that's a good point, because they put something down that's going to block it. They put a cat, a Lugbog cat down on top of it to block it. You say, okay, I'll gift the serpent, draw a card, cycle through. I won't attack with my um, kobold, but I'll just kill your cat anyway, and then move on with my life. Like that. That is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and yeah, and like in a pinch, you can use it with a charge minion
Yeah,
and lose your minion, but still, it only cost you one card in the end, right?
which is a big deal. And then Flaming Skull. What you're up on Flaming Skull now?
Yeah, I think I just love Flaming Skull so much. Is especially with fire valuing positional spellcasting, having this minion with evasion that you play on turn two, and like we've talked about this before, but Flaming Skull is always good on turn 2, and every other card that we've looked at is conditionally good on turn 2. Like, Hyena is basically bad on turn 2.
Yeah.
Gift of the Wolf is like a cycle on turn 2. Firebolts is only good if you're on the draw and they played something you want to kill, right?
Yep.
Centipede, same thing, only good if you're on the draw, because if you're on the play, you can't actually hit their site turn 2.
And you
Violent,
have Synergy has to
what?
target something, so you can't even play it. You don't even want to target. You can't. You would have to target one of your own sites, which you don't want to do. So
Exactly. Yeah. And Violent, right, you want to use its ability, so you often don't want to play it turn 2. Or, like, so Flaming Skull is the only, like, on curve 2 drop that I think is worth playing in Fire, where you play it turn 2 in every single game, and it's like maybe they Violent it, which is its biggest weakness, but if they don't do that, then like they've got this 2 power airborne kind of floating around, pushing in little bits of damage, and then being there to position all of your spells.
the other, I would say that Warhorse is not a terrible turn to play on the draw. But if you're on the play, you're right. Flaming Skull's better.
Yeah, on the play you don't want to. So like there are like that's my point is Flaming Skull. You always want to play it on turn 2, and that's why I like it so much.
That is a good argument for Flaming Skull. All right, should we move on to the next one?
Cool.
Next color.
Yeah, let's go to the next element.
Let's do it.
I think
Air.
it's worth saying that fire has the best 2 drops. I think, and then air might have the second best. I don't know, or earth. It's hard.
Ooh,
Ooh,
interesting.
interesting. This is a fun one.
You have front Highland Falconer as the best.
I mean, I guess that's not true. Blink is maybe the best. I I mean, Highland Falconer has been made more complicated by the courts.
Yeah,
Like, because
I don't know.
now Highland Falconer, yeah,
I start a lot of my decks with Highland Falconer in them, and then I'm like, oh, but then this forces me to play these other cards that just like aren't actually that good. So then I just don't play it.
yeah. I mean, you're not wrong about that. Like Highland Falconer, I end up cutting from so many decks, but I think I'm wrong to do it. Like, I think Highland Falconer is just really good.
Yeah, maybe it is. All right, so let's start over here. Blink. We agree on Blink as the best air 2 drop spell. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that, honestly. Like
Yeah,
movement, draws a card, sets yourself up for better attack, gets you in for a death blow, draws you. I don't know. What do you say about this?
yeah. Blink is just one of the. I think, yeah, in the running for best 2 drops in the game. It
Mhm.
I'm always cutting blinks from deck. Like never do I cut. I always have some blink, but then there's like one of those cards where I'm always sad to do it, but then I end up going down to like 2 blinks in my deck instead of 4, and then inevitably there are so many games where I'm like, oh, if I just had a blink right now.
Yeah, so powerful. All right, so I guess yeah, let's finish off Highland Falconer then. So
Yeah.
I,
So Highland Falconer, right? When you play it, you get to summon a 2 mana beast with airborne where you play it.
yeah,
So it's effectively 3 power for 2 mana. So if nothing else, it's as good as a boss control,
it's
right?
not as good as a boss control though, because it's on 2 different bodies that are each smaller.
Yeah, but like, what does that matter for? Like, I mean, we've had this
It,
debate
it
before. I
matters for
do
your
think,
second best fire card.
yeah, for Violent,
So you play Violent, you play this on the front. You pull in your Vampire Bat and your Highland Falconer. They Violent kill your Bat, and then
hmm
your Highland Falconer is 2 mana, gain 2 life because their Violent gets blocked once.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Like, I think Highland Falconer is strongest in Avatar of Air, is where it truly shines, because then you can play it back where it's
And
safe.
then they throw the yeah.
I still like it as a 2 drop for the same reason I like Flaming Skull, right? Like it's a 2 drop that is not responsive, and so you play it on curve, and we'll get to this. Like, I think this is true with all of the minions that made our air 2 drops. It's like they're they're the ones that sort of have a reason they're safe-ish to play, or
Hmm.
like that you don't mind playing them early. It's not like the fire 2 drops where a lot of the time you wanna play them to do something. You're playing them just to get bodies on the board that are gonna push threat.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
So,
Um,
but yeah, Highland Falconer, who knows? Yeah, it's a hard one. Magic Missile, though, it's
mm,
fire bolts in air,
yep. So same reasons, really.
which Magic Missile is like all right, like someone in a mirror match, right? You play your Falconer, and then they Magic Missile and kill your Falconer and whatever it summoned.
Yeah, which is
But
never
you
fun,
know
but hey,
it's never fun, but it's a fair trade, right?
it is. Yeah, 2 mana for 2 mana. All right, so then that's our top two, and then it's also your third. Then so my third is Tooth Fairies. I think Tooth Fairies it was in your runner ups. I think Tooth Fairies is just so good. That might be partially because I played too much air savior deck, too many air savior decks, and it holds a ward so beautifully, and it pops wards so nicely, and it clears way for attackers so nicely. It has so many good functions. It's also airborne. No, I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
I love Tooth Fairies. Yeah, not enough to say, not enough good things to say about her, honestly. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was between Tooth Fairies and Cloud Spirit for me for the fifth card. And I like while I was making my list, I went back and forth a bunch of times. And yeah, I like Tooth Fairies a lot. I'm playing around with them in one of the decks I'm running a bunch right now, and I I keep taking them out of the deck and then putting them back in, and then every time I play a Tooth Fairy, it just doesn't really do anything for me. And
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I've played against Tooth. Like I just feel like on the board, Tooth Fairy does in constructed is underwhelming. Is basically what I've found. Is just like from experience compared to Cloud Spirit, right? Where like Cloud Spirit's mobility just kind of makes it a endless annoyance that's really does some like I've lost games to Cloud Spirit. I have Tooth Fairies is crazy good in limited. I've lost many limited games to Tooth Fairies, but in constructed, I feel like I've never lost a game to Tooth Fairies.
Yeah, I like Cloud Spirit too, but the reason it always gets cut is I just can't. I'd rather play a Tooth Fairy on two on the play, and I'm more reliably going to have one air threshold on turn two.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's
that's really where
the
it
threshold is greedy.
kind of comes down
Very
to.
true. Yeah. Well, and
But
then
yeah,
Lightning Bolt is, I mean, Zap has replaced Lightning Bolt as a finisher a lot of the time, but I think Lightning Bolt is still eminently
if
main deckable.
yeah, that Zap can go in your collection, but it shouldn't be in your main deck. Lightning Bolt can
Yeah,
go in your main deck, um,
yeah,
and in your collection.
100%.
And if you're playing Zap, you should have Lightning Bolt also in your collection, in my opinion, because Ironclad exists, and
Yeah, Lightning Bolt is so important. Yeah,
in every imposter deck has Ironclad in their collection. All right, and then I went with Forsaken as my last one. We covered Cloud Spirit, but my last one I have is Forsaken. I like this because I don't know, crazy, I guess. I don't know. I just like the 3 power for two. And then the downside of it being in the outer column can be a problem sometimes, but like it eventually gets there. It eventually does what it needs to do. Um, and I've had a lot of games where I play this on turn two or turn one with the tower, and my opponent's like, ugh, how am I gonna? Like, I have to deal with that. They know they have to deal with it. Um, and
yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
like
my
Forsaken a lot as well. Forsaken's what you like to me, so like 2 drop heuristics. The 2 primary heuristics are, do I want to play this on curve? And Forsaken is like a resounding yes. But then the second question of, do I want to play this super late in the game when I draw it? And then that's where Forsaken is sad, right?
yeah.
but it's still okay. Like at that point, you can probably play it directly adjacent to a site, so it'll be able to swing the turn after you play it. So it's still not awful late game, but I've definitely played many games where I'm sad to draw Forsaken.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it is, I think it is really great as an opener. I love I love it as a tool for sort of getting your opponent out of position too. Like that's one of the things in limited especially I always talk about that with Forsaken, that it kind of forces them to do weird things with their minion and site placement that they wouldn't usually do, which can then open up other avenues. So yeah,
Yeah,
Forsaken's
it
good.
yeah. Then you've got some others in your runners up category.
Yeah, yeah. For the
Playing
runners
some.
up, the only ones that were really close were Tooth Fairies and Displace. I like Tactical Move a lot too. Um, Displace, I've been considering main decking more and more. It just has so
Interesting.
many different uses.
Yeah, I
Like,
I main deck tactical move every now and again because of headless haunt.
yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, I copied one of your decks to build my current deck that I'm playing a lot of, and I
uh-huh.
cut all the tactical moves from it. But I do like
Fair.
tactical move. I hate that tactical move doesn't work with Pudge Butcher. I feel like it's my biggest problem with tactical move. Right, like Displace can move your Pudge Butcher, tactical move can't. And like, how often does moving multiple things really matter that much?
I don't know. Regularly, I feel like. Does it not? I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know. Displace does do that, which is good. I guess it's like copies, additional copies of Blink, kind of. But I mean, if I'm playing Displace for that purpose, I'd rather just play Blink because it draws me a card. But I guess Displace has additional flexibility.
yeah. Like I see Displace almost like Air's Common Sense, where it's like a super multi-purpose card, right? It can be your artifact removal. It can sometimes be minion removal if you run Bottomless Pit or the Void.
Hmm.
It can uh, it can just be a movement trick, which is often effectively removal,
Yeah,
and then
especially with Pudge Butcher.
little things like there are certain auras that all of a sudden you're like, oh, this actually does crazy things for me right now. Like that's
Yeah,
not super common, but every once in a while you'll be able to use this on an aura, and no one sees that coming.
good point. Yeah. All right,
We
and then
didn't
you
look
have
at
these.
the uniques in air, like
Oh,
Highland
yeah,
Princess and Eclipse. I think are the two unique two drops that might make some lists. I mean, Highland
yeah.
Princess will make most lists.
Highland Princess I didn't include because if Ring doesn't exist, she doesn't exist. She doesn't need to exist. Um,
Yeah,
and then Eclipse felt like the same thing as Jihad, where I'm just, and even
yeah,
Jihad is the one of these that I'm the most likely to play, and Eclipse is
yeah,
lower on my list.
yeah.
Hmm.
Agreed. Yeah, let's talk about Earth next, which I think Earth is actually the second best for two drops.
This is where the first time we actually see a unique that I put in my list here. And I cheated and I put six. Well,
Oh, because you counted Kettle Top and
Land
um,
Surveyor is the same card.
as
Um,
one.
Common sense is just like not good anywhere, but
I don't know.
we'll get there.
I'm
We'll get
wanting to
there.
run. Yeah, yeah. We'll have that discussion in a minute.
Exorcist
um,
is our both our number one.
yeah, Exorcist is just an auto include in every deck that can play it at this point.
Yep.
It's insane to not run it. It's way too strong, and I
Yeah.
actually kind of consider Exorcist a problem in the meta.
Interesting.
Like, yeah, I think it. Like, I don't think it's awful. Like, there's so many overpowered cards in sorcery that most of them are uniques, and but like, is it a bigger problem than Poison Nova? Probably not. But just getting
Uh,
to
it
yeah,
never does more than one for one. Like, I guess it can like one for two, I guess, but like kind of, but like it basically just one for ones.
yeah, one for ones. It feels insanely good in Imposter because then you can Death Speaker it as well.
Hmm, that's fair.
So you have like you like once you've played it and it's died, then you have this like pay 5 mana, banish any demon spirit or aura in your back pocket.
Is yeah, that's fair.
Um,
I hadn't even considered it in
but yeah,
that scenario, but yeah, that's a really good point.
yeah, I think it's a very strong card.
Very
I don't
strong
think
for
there's much
sure.
else to say. It's funny that it's so strong. I guess the other thing I'll say, like compared to every other, like Angry Mob is the only other destroy adjacent minion that's good, right? So like Gravedigger, Demon Hunter, Mage Slayer, like there's so many minions that are 2 power minions that you play it and it kills something next to it that is of a certain type. Exorcist is just flexible enough that almost every game there'll come a moment where you can get value from it.
Yeah, the fact that demon, spirit, and aura, it's like triple, right? So
Yeah, yeah, because it has 3 options, it makes it playable. If it was one less option, it would probably be a bad card.
yeah. All right,
Kettle top.
kettle
This is
top is our.
we've been we've been saving this discussion for. We want to do a great debates and sorcery episode,
Yeah, and
and
this is one of them.
here it is. Here's the most ancient debate in sorcery.
So, would you rather have
Kettle
two
top.
power and a death right to draw a site, or one power and a genesis to draw a site? You're on team death right to draw.
Yeah, Kettle top is a auto include level card. Land Surveyor is a build around card, right? Like there are decks that love Land Surveyor, surely, right? But the difference between a 1 power minion and a 2 power minion is humongous. Like I wonder if that's true that the gap between 1 and 2 is bigger than the gap between 2 and 3, which is like the gap is larger the lower down the lat.
I
Like
mean,
the difference between
percentile
4 and
wise, that
5
makes sense.
power. I mean, that's true. And I just think on the board, like Kettle Top, the number of games where Kettle Top does minimum 6 damage and often as much as like 10 damage is crazy, right?
That's just a misplay from your opponent, though, isn't it? Like, I mean, like you gotta like you the urge to not trade with the leprechaun is a mistake.
Is it? But that's sort of my point. Is right. Like that's why it's so good. Is if you trade with a leprechaun, right? Like if you sacrifice your tooth fairies or um, your whatever your 2 power thing is, even your vile imp into a leprechaun, right? Then leprechaun has given you an advance, right? Then it's definitively better than land surveyor would have. Like Warhorse doesn't die killing land surveyor.
But like, but I guess what you're saying is that like so I guess my issue with Kettletop is there are so many times where I want it to die to give me my fourth land. And I cannot guarantee that it will do that. Because of one reason or another. And I
Okay,
that's
but
why I like Land Surveyor a lot in a lot of decks because I want it to be that fourth card. And like then you get into the spot where I get into the spot a lot where I'm like, okay, well I have a kettle top on the field. I have 3 sites on the battlefield, and I need to decide what I'm drawing for turn. Um, and I have a 4 drop in hand. Do I draw a site or do I try to figure out a way to kill this kettle top into something? Do I like run it into a boss troll to like get my site? And the answer is like it's just I always get into like weird spots with it. And maybe I just need to not be in those weird spots. But that's what I end up with. And I end up like wanting it to die and it doesn't die. And then I have to tap to draw a site or something. Where I'd rather have just played this, have the site in hand,
yeah,
draw that spell, and play the site.
and my experience is the exact opposite. Where like if I'm in a situation where I want Kettle Top to die, then there's probably an easy way to kill it, right? Like the only reason I need that fourth site right now is because they have a cat out, and I need 4 mana to have a answer to their cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, I can just attack my kettle top into their cat and get my fourth sight, and then it's as if I had a land surveyor, right?
Not really, because then
But
you just threw away a kettle top.
yeah,
You
yeah, I
did.
guess you're right. Like then it's a small difference, but that's way less likely for me than just wanting to keep threatening to push damage with my kettle top, right? Like if I can get, I don't know, I like this is exact like there are many decks I will like that want Land Surveyor because of exactly what you're saying, because they need to play their fourth sight on turn four, and that's what the card is there for, is to be sort of like landmass, right? Be
Mhm.
a landmass that you can play on turn two rather than having to play it on turn three and then miss out on your play for turn three, right? But
Yeah. So I think this comes what this debate comes down to me is, and why I put both of them in here was every Earth deck should have one of these, right? Like it should either have Kettle Top or Land Surveyor. And your point is that more of them should have Land Kettle Top.
yeah,
Eh, I think yeah, I mean because like you need one of them, right? Like that's like
well, yeah. I mean, in the decks that want Land Surveyor, you really want Land Surveyor, but in every Earth deck, you want Kettle Top, unless it's a Land Surveyor deck, and even then, you might just be running both.
that's fair. All right.
Okay, well, we'll
Yeah,
debate this again, I'm sure, in the
I'm sure we
future.
will. Maybe I'll come back
Sister
around on Kettle
Stefania,
Top. So yeah, I have
yeah,
Sister Stephania. The most man, so good. Sister Stephania, like the silencing of just everything about her is just so good. Um, the silencing of other minions, your opponent's minions, silencing your own minions matters a lot in Earth because you get to turn off your own Pudge Butcher, turn off your Phalanx. Just so
yeah,
important. Breaks wards nearby, other wards nearby. Just so good. It's in your
yeah,
pile of uniques.
yeah. Sister Stefania is pretty close to an auto include in most decks.
Yeah.
It's funny, I don't include her often. I don't know what's wrong with me. Why I don't like she can backfire on
Yeah, she can
like
backfire. That's definitely true. And like the times where I don't play her is when she's more likely to backfire. So like
yeah.
but yeah, I agree. She can backfire hard.
She's a reason to avoid kettle top, I guess, right? If she's out, you don't get your but I guess that's true for Land Surveyor too. But
Yeah, yeah.
Land Surveyor, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she's very good. There's no doubt about it. Um, but she can be used against you quite effectively.
Yeah, she can muck up your own board
As
pretty
yeah,
pretty easily. All
and
right, and
well,
then
then we
Gift of the
have
Wolf.
Gift of the Wolf. Yeah, we're both very high on Gift of the Wolf. I think it's
Yeah, pretty obvious why. Um,
yeah, it's just a great combat trick that cantrips like a blink, sort of easy card to include in most lists, but sometimes you end up cutting copies of it or even going down to zero because you just are trying to do other stuff. But
most of my decks still end up having two of them in it with there's Earth.
yeah, then Boss Control probably just didn't make your list because you included Lady.
Yeah, because I included Lady and Sister.
Yeah,
Boss Troll
I
was
mean
on the
Boss.
list on the short list.
Yeah, yeah, Boss Control. I mean, I kind of made my list in terms of like auto include level, right? So Boss Control is like the fourth auto include two drop in Earth, which means that it doesn't make the list a lot,
Yeah, it gets cut a lot. It gets cut a lot.
but it's still very good. And
Yeah, it definitely is. Common sense.
then Common Sense. So here's my take on Common Sense. If you would play Gift of the Wolf, you could play Common Sense. Like to me, Common Sense is it is a cantrip, and I feel like people kind of forget that about Common Sense. But it's a cantrip that you end up using the cards you cantripped out of it. But that huge
But it has no
flexibility,
effect by itself, right? So it's like
yeah,
infinitely flexible, but it is also just two mana for I don't know, like it's draw a specific card. I don't know. The tax on it is just huge for me unless I'm in Archimago.
yeah. I mean, I like it a lot. It is a card that in non-Archie decks I mulligan, right? Like I don't keep Common Sense in an opening hand, but it's really good later in the game. I love it as a kill. That you can use it to find your door knocker. You can use it like in the same way, like it's better than displace, right? because it does something similar, and just and in many ways it's like our Jarho too, where it's got like sort of multifunctional use. It's more expensive. Like common sense is really a 4 mana, or I guess the way I think of it is 5 mana remove any problem.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? 'Cause the floor is you common sense for a berry,
Yeah,
but a lot of times you can common sense for a firebolt or a magic missiles, and then it ends up doing something crazy where like you kettle top, hit something for two, common sense for magic missiles, and clear two things, right?
yeah.
Or like there's a lot
It
of stuff
is
like that.
it is flexible, which is a good point. I mean, in that spot we were just talking about where you run it into a cat, um, you can run your kettle top into a cat, common sense for a firebolt, finish the cat, deal one to the avatar, and have
Yeah,
your fourth sight played, and only spend one card from your hand. Like that is pretty valuable.
yeah, yeah. I think it's a pretty good card. Like Haystacks makes it scary, but no one Haystacks is not very popular still.
Yeah, for
Then
some reason,
your love of Lady Assault, a
I do
card
love
that
Lady Assault.
I don't believe in, and I'm probably wrong.
So she is a removal magnet. Yes,
Hmm.
I try not to play her in the same deck as Sister Stephania,
Makes
because
sense.
that is a big non-vote. But she is mass removal insurance. That's really what she is, in a lot of ways. So, like at her like lowest level, because if you have her near a bunch of your stuff and you get Atlantean faded, everything else that dies at the same time goes back to your hand. Same with Earthquake, same with Poison Nova. All the things that are near her go back to your hand. So, and that includes when they get buried or submerged. Cave In also works, um, that way. But the other thing, what she does in a lot of cases is if they have their mass removal, what they have to do is they have to find a way to kill her, take a turn to kill her, and you get an extra turn worth of damage in, and then they get to use their mass removal, which doesn't feel great sometimes, but is a pretty decent floor, um, to
Yeah,
me. And then the other thing she does is like it makes it so that I can play her, trade my boss scroll into your boss scroll, then play my boss scroll. It just like
yeah,
incentivizes and helps with trading, which can be really good.
yeah, yeah. That's the most classic use I feel like for Lady is to do the trade, but not a trade trick with her. Right? You play her, you do the trade attack, and then you get your minion back in hand, and you can replay it later.
You
Um,
know, you know what's really gross with is a Jaro.
oh man, the
no,
reason
but
I,
that's
I
just
think
that's just
that's
how good a Jaro is.
My problem with Lady is that she is only as good as the thing she's protecting. I don't love that in a card. Like Gift of the Wolf at least cantrips, right? So if you have nothing to put Gift of the Wolf on, you can at least just, cycle your gift.
Hmm.
But Lady has to have something else out there for her to be good.
That's fair. She's a pretty miserable top deck on an empty board,
Yeah.
but like so are all of these. Like I mean, like Boss Crawl is the one that's not.
Well, Common Sense isn't, like Kettletop isn't, Arjaro isn't really, like,
Yeah, I
is
mean,
Arjaro.
I wouldn't love to top deck this on an empty board, but Kettle
Yeah.
Top
I guess
and
any two drop isn't great as a top
yeah,
deck on an empty board. I have seen some people starting to run Amazon Warriors in decks here and there, and
yeah,
I love that as a you can just common sense for an Amazon Warriors. Like if you're in a late game top deck scenario, like that's actually kind of a fun
yeah.
little.
I've done
Yeah.
that before. It's pretty cool. All right, so then let's
Okay,
go to
well
your
that's fair.
next uniques. You
Oh
have
yeah, well yeah, I kind
Saint of
of sorted them
Redemption.
by level. I think Saint of Redemption is wildly powerful in decks that want it, just
Yeah,
as like a turn off all charge minions. Like if you're not playing charge, so good.
yeah, that is a very good point. It's very good if you're not
And
playing your own charge.
that it counters Persecutor is crazy, and a lot of people take issue with that ruling, but that's how it
It
works.
does. I did not realize that.
Yeah, yeah, it has a specific FAQ that like this that it making nothing evil extends to um even persecutor trying to brand things.
And hmm, that doesn't make sense. That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, it, like reading the cards. This debate has been had many times, but that's the official rules. Mover
That's
of
good to
Mountains,
know.
I've
Mover
come way up
mountains.
on. Yeah, I traded away a foil Mover of Mountains. Like I think that was my first unique foil I opened in Gothic. Uh, I mean, I got a great trade for it, but at the time I was like, this doesn't seem good. But there's a lot of crazy things you can do with it, like the nearby. Like in my brain, it's adjacent, but so they can literally take something that's diagonally here and switch it with something diagonally down here, right?
Yeah, my biggest problem with mover of mountains is that so often I want to remove something that has a minion on it already.
Yeah,
And it's always in the late game that I want to be moving stuff around. So
yeah,
I usually rather have Atlas Wanderer than Mover of Mountains. That is like the
very
big
true.
issue I have with Mover of Mountain.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, it's a hard one. I just feel like it makes sense in fire decks. Like if you think about it, comboed with a Violent to deal the death blow, like
yeah,
you can use it to like move one of your empty sites to where it's adjacent to them. But yeah, not worth talking about in great detail. And then Crusade, I think, is
we've covered more
kind
or
of
less.
good. Yeah, in a mono Earth, which no one's playing mono Earth, so I guess that's irrelevant. Okay, and
Let's
now
say
for the
Mono Earth.
worst two drops in the game.
Yeah, here they are. So, and then we turn over one of the best two drops in the game.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, Nymph got cut on my side.
you have Pied Piper, which that's the only unique two drop I put in my little unique file.
I don't know. I'm pretty close. I mean, like these, I could see these getting swapped, but like
I think
part of why
Adept
polymorph is so good is because Adapt Illusionist exists.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, Poly. Well, yeah, they both make each other better. I just think Adept Illusionist is super powerful. Like, yeah, Adept Illusionist is also one of the cards that I kind of don't like that it exists. Like, I mean, I love it for flavor, and it's such a cool card, but
It's
I think it's too strong.
Yeah, it is. It is too. I think that getting it from your library or your deck is one thing, but getting it from your cemetery, it shouldn't be able to do that. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
it's
that's
just
just that's too far. And like the thing is like it would still be good if it just got it from your spell book. But the thing is, like a lot of people are going down on Adept Illusionist because they're also playing mismanaged mortuary, which means that they can't the secondary activations of Adept Illusionist can't happen. So people are using less Adept Illusionist. I think you're still supposed to play Adept Illusionist. It's so good.
that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. That your own mortuary messes up your Adept Illusionist. I just think I've seen it get insane infinite value in so many games. And like every time it's played against me, I like it's you must deal with it. And like there's so few two drops in this game that are must answer threats. In fact, I think there's no other ones. Like what else is a two
Sister,
mana card?
Sister
Sister, yeah.
Stephania.
But even Sister's like not necessarily like it can't. I guess it depends on your deck,
Yeah,
but
there are some decks where Sister Stephania becomes impossible to win a game
yeah.
if it's on the battlefield. But no, yeah, I agree. Adept Illusionist is a unique problem. It asks a very unique question
And like
that you
often I
really
do have the answer, right? Like there are games where I just deal with Adept Illusionist and I'm off to the races and no one cares. But there are many games where it just grinds out so much value that I think it kind of won the game, even if it doesn't. It's not like the card that finished me off.
yeah. But like it gained 13 life because it had a blocker that it could just come back over and over and over again.
Yeah. And then there's
But
Polymorph. I mean, yeah, these two are so close. Polymorph is such good sort of unconditional removal. I mean, you have to be nearby, but
I I think polymorph it's it's my vote for best unconditional removal spell in sorcery. Um,
Interesting. Yeah, I can't think of what's better. Yeah, I mean, disintegrate.
but additional mana.
Yeah, disintegrate costs one more, but it vanishes, so they don't get the blocker. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I think that it's easily in the running.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, love polymorph. Riptide
We got
kind of goes into
Riptide.
this
Yeah.
kind of goes into the same box as Gift of the Wolf and Blink, except
Hmm.
Riptide can move your opponent's stuff, and that matters so much.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Yeah. Riptide's
it,
almost better than Blink.
yeah,
Like,
it can.
which is funny. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I'd say it is better
it's
than
not
Blink
better
though.
than Blink. You think it is better?
So in a water deck, if I'm in an air water deck, how about that? Let's say that. If I'm in a water air deck, I will cut down to 0 blinks before I cut down to 0 riptides.
Hmm. Interesting.
But that's just because of what
Yeah.
water does and
Yeah.
loves doing, right? Like that's just how water works. And if you're in water, you want riptide. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think I kind of agree with you on that. That's a good point. Like, Blink is better. Like, if somehow you could run Riptide and it was for Earth sites, like if there was an Earth Riptide in like a Air 5, I would prefer Blink, but specifically in a water air deck, yeah, I think you're right. Riptide is often better.
it's a weird question because it's just they're so different. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, riptide also can't wait, water site pulls. Yeah, I mean it can pull a Pudge Butcher.
Yeah, it can move a
So
Pudge. It's just not as flexible in terms of where it can move your stuff, but it can also move their stuff, which is pretty darn good.
Pied
Pied
Piper,
Piper, yeah.
Pied Piper. The new rules change with Pied Piper. I don't understand, but hey, um,
And
the
the new
Pied
rules
Piper is still.
change just makes it counterable. So like any pump spell will circumvent Pied Piper.
But then it like the pump spell goes away because it's no longer. There's like some weird stuff with it. So that I just. But yeah, no, Pied Piper is still very good. Um,
Yeah, I mean as
and
long
as
as is Necro, Pied Piper is kind of an auto include in water decks.
yeah, and the fact that
As your
Geomancer
endurance.
and Archimago are also both playing around with a ton of tokens means
Yeah.
Pied Piper is also good again in those matchups.
I
Winter
love
Nymph.
Winter Nymph. Yeah, I put it over Polar Explorers at this point. I think it doesn't make a lot of decks because there's not a lot of true mono water decks aside from mono water Pathfinder. And so like when you have access to the other two drops and other elements, there's other things you probably want. But it hard counters charge in a similar way to Saint of Redemption, and like I just think it's so powerful. You just kind of walk it over and then it's sitting there, and then if you're not against someone who's playing charge. I mean, even not countering charge, it like hard counters blocker. Like they can't play a
Yeah,
blocker on their turn, right? Like their blockers get tapped when they play them, or they have to play them to the back line.
which makes them less flexible in where they can block.
Yeah, and then you just step forward with Winter Nymph, and then now anywhere they play their blockers, it can't block the turn after they play it.
Yeah. Then we both have Polar Explorers.
Yeah,
It's
the
I
poor
don't know. It's
man's
just
ruler of Thule.
yeah. I was gonna say Ruler of Thule at home, but like it's just good. Like the fact that it lets your stuff run across the bottom of the border. This is one of those that's not good on turn two.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah, and it gets cut a lot. Like, yeah, there's so many times you draw Polar Explorers and it's not what you needed, but
yeah,
it's still a very good card.
it is.
Well,
All
cool.
right,
That's
so that's
water.
that's water. That's the last of the elements. The last thing we have on our list here is these one drops because I made a list of one drops, but
Yeah,
it came down to there are like mostly uniques that are worth playing. The cycle of uniques that are one mana and 3 threshold are all playable. Um, and
yeah.
so
Plague
is
of
Divine
Frogs
Healing.
being a lot less playable. Like,
Yeah,
Immolate
I mean,
and Browse are auto include in any deck that can play them.
these are
Tithe
less
is
popular.
Yeah, Tithe is only good in decks that want to draw a ton of sites. So they basically need to have card advantage some other way for Tithe
Yeah.
to be worth it. Divine Healing is very good if you can play it. I feel like I should play Divine Healing in more decks at this point, but
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like I feel like it gets cut from decks that aren't Archimago because it doesn't heal you 14 in decks that aren't Archimago, but like
yeah,
it heal 7 is still a lot. Still,
yeah,
yeah, it's still more than a third of your life total. Like it's a big
yeah,
deal. And
and yeah,
yeah,
Plague
I should
got
probably play it more.
garroted,
Hmm?
and then Plague of Frogs got eroded, so it's not
Oh yeah,
not
Plague
as
of Frogs
strong.
got way worse. Yeah, now that all 7 have to go to the same location, not as good. And some people say that Tithe is ancestral recall from Magic because it just says draw 3 cards. I do not agree with that, um,
No, strongly
but
disagree. It
it is
is
it
in
is
any deck with a tap ability. It might be arguable that that is true,
yeah, I could see that in like a yeah,
like
but like I
Witch,
don't know, like Witch I
Sorcerer,
could see it potential, Sorcerer could see it with potential because like it means that Sorcerer doesn't need this. I don't know, maybe it's not really that, but maybe I could see an argument for it being in some decks, but it gets it's not valuable to me very much. It's not very valuable to me in most decks.
and I also think it's the other reason why I like Tithe is the quality of sites having increased. Like the utility you're getting out of your site, like just as a way to look through your sites. So, especially if you're a mono Earth or like Earth with a splash of something, I think Tithe can be really good. Like use it to find your Rift Valley.
Use it
Use
to
it,
find
you
your
know.
Court of Equity. Use it
Yeah,
to find
exactly.
your gnome hollows. Yeah, that's actually a decent point. And
Well,
even if you
so
don't
that's
play all the
our
sites, yeah, that's our list
yeah,
for today.
yeah. Fun talking about the cheap cards. They're
Yeah,
not the ones that define the game, but they are important. It's
yeah,
good
you
to
got to
have
have
some
something to do.
lower curve stuff.
All right. Well, leave a comment down below. Tell us what we missed. If we missed a 1 or a 2 drop, that's way too powerful, and we just completely missed it entirely. Let us know. And yeah, till next time. Catch you later.
Yeah. Keep on playing beyond the ordinary.